Всем привет. Меня зовут Illia Komsa.
Hello everyone, my name is Illia Komsa and I'm here so that the next speakers do not feel too uneasy on my place. I'm a web developer from Wargaming, from the Minsk office of Wargaming, and will be speaking about browser games today. Long ago, 2004, my first multiplayer network game was a browser game, strangely.
Dark Ages.
This was the Dark Ages, and it looked astonishing as a next generation of graphics back then. It was very cool indeed. I woke up at 3 a.m., switched on the DSL modem, and was really dropped out from the reality for the next 3 to 4 hours. And then my parents called me for large telephone bills. Over the time, my computer increased the performance 100 of times. My HDD grew 100-fold, the memory speed grew 1,000-fold. The internet and the video card also increased their performance. But one of the most popular browser games of the last years looks like this. I don't like it so much. I'm a web developer. I'm a web developer in my heart, and I love web technologies. But when I see how weak those games are in their development, in their realization, this upsets me a lot. So we'll now be talking about the new technologies which allow us to change it, to change this approach. Let's get back to the development, to the history of the web games. Flash was dominating the market for years, and we now know Flash is dead. This has to do with the fact that the system has performance issues, has security issues, and it's like Steve Jobs has played a significant role in this, who back in 2006 said that Flash will not be supported in OS anymore. So iOS made effectively Flash dead. 2 months ago, Adobe said that they will be deprecating this technology soon, and over the last few years, browsers warn about using this technology and ask for permission to do this. One of the main developers of browser games has recently published stats of technology usage on their platform. This is a graph you see of all the games published on this platform. As you know, well, Flash is blue here, and purple, I'm not a designer and I don't know what color it is, but purple is HTML. Flash is diminishing its influence here, and HTML gains. HTML conquers the market. Slowly. No, not slowly. Rapidly. But let's get back to the very beginning of the browser games. The very first browser game is a Football Manager Hat Trick. This is the first game I managed to find on the internet, developed back in 1997, although you cannot find anything older than 2006 as screenshots. This game is, well, quite popular, still quite popular today, and active throughout the world. But you, I think, know the combats.com a lot more. This was a breakthrough in the SIS market. I spent a lot of time playing this, not money, but time, because it required a heavy investment on money. And one of the most prominent browser games in Europe is Travian, published in 2004 It is still very active and earns a lot of money to conquer new platforms. All these games have the following in common. They are step-by-step games. Browsers did not have a technology allowing to feed the data to the server from the client without an explicit client's request. This technology appeared first in 2011, and only 5 years after that it got supported by all of the browsers. And one of the first examples of such technology for browser games was the Mozilla-developed game Browser Games. This is a multiplayer role-playing game with astonishing graphics, again. But it was a breakthrough indeed back then, because hundreds of players could interact and play on the same map. Next, a new technology appeared, the WebRTC. WebRTC allows a peer-to-peer connection with the players. Everyone hoped that this technology would allow a breakthrough, and 2013 saw a demo game developed by Google called CubeSlam, and a lot of other technologies were used as well: audio, WebGL, 3D, video, webcams, player webcams, and so on and so on. This is very good technology and still future allowing, and it has a future because Apple decided 2016 to support this in their games. And speaking about the browser games, you should not forget about the 2048 Wargaming. This game cost Wargaming only several hundreds of dollars because I was playing a lot 2048 when at work. One of the most advanced, and well, maybe it was not a game, it was an entertainment or show. Who's seen this picture? This was organized by Reddit some time ago. This is a picture, 1,000 by 1,000 pixels, so 1,000,000 pixels. And a user could, over 3 days, log on to a specific page, and one time in 5 minutes to change the color of a single pixel. This has become a battle because several teams appeared on the game. Someone started to paint a corner in blue, the next corner in red. Someone drew disgusting pictures, and you all know what appeared first in this picture. This, technologically speaking, is very cool because over the 3 days, the players introduced 16 million changes into this picture, and over 2 million people visited the color change page in a single game, and you could participate on a single field, on a single map, simultaneously with 90,000 people. So these are not just 90,000 players on a server, but 90,000 people in one game location. And the technological breakthrough is that it was possible on every browser and every device. Let's just think, why should we be doing browser games? How can a browser game be better than any other PC game or phone game? First, the thing is that you do not have to download it. You do not have to install it. You've just received a link through Skype, through Telegram. You click on it, you're in a game. You don't have to wait most of the time. You don't have to make anything extra. You don't need an administrator rights to install a new program, and so on and so on. Next, browser technologies, web technologies, are very open and, well, somehow insecure as well. But this makes them very open to developers. You have all your source code of the open client. You can change modules, you can change textures. And in World of Tanks Generals, the browser game of Wargaming, unfortunately, it's already already shut down. But we had a technology allowing installing popular mods into the game in 2 or 3 clicks. This was implemented inside the browser. You did not have to do anything extra. And what happens in the browser stays in the browser. It did not clutter your platform in any way. The next thing about the browser games is that people are used to the fact that ads are present on the website. As a user, I experience the ads on news or entertainment sites, and this is natural for me, more natural than ads in PC games, for instance. Browser technology allow integrating games with ad networks like Google AdWords or Yandex Direct. This simplifies the life for a developer, allowing him or her to earn a little more money on a game. The openness of the browser technologies give you a lot of access to a lot of libraries and platforms to collect data, to analyze data, to A/B test games, and your possibilities are really unlimited with this toolkit. The data Google Analytics can collect for you won't be able to be collected by a small team of game developers. And HTML5 is, as of today, the most cross-platform technologies in the market. Think about it: Windows, Linux, Android, iOS, PlayStation, Xbox, Smart TV. These are the OSs. Nintendo, we support this technology as well. There is a smart fridge from Samsung having a browser allowing you to play browser games as well. I don't know why they decided to use it on a fridge, but nevertheless. The only platform which does not support browser games is Nintendo Switch. This is kind of strange. The developers of this platform did not grant access to their own browser inside the OS. It is hidden somewhere very deep in the OS, and the access still not be granted. But I hope this will be changing soon. How does HTML5 actually look like? You all heard about the HTML5 sites and so on and so on. What is this? HTML5 consists of several components. This is the actual markup language, version 5. This is the cascading style sheets language, version 3. One of the newer versions of JavaScript. This is very chaotic currently, with the versioning of JavaScript, and a huge and immense list of different APIs to work with the browser. When I'm speaking about immense list, it is really immense. And finding out the way through the list is a huge problem. Let's just name the main APIs which a game developer or API developer would need. Graphics APIs. 3D graphics in browser can be done using several APIs. Over 98% of all devices and browsers people using on the internet support this AP. Web audio and audio, multi-channel, Dolby, sound APIs, everything you can possibly need for a game on a very convenient, very practical. Several APIs like web workers and web sockets allowing you to simplify the interaction of a client and a server to improve the efficiency a little bit and to simplify the development as well. And a range of newer APIs, which could be game changers in this market. Previously, browser games looked a little bit shabby, simple, but now the browser has access to the GPS position of the user, given the user grants this permission, allowing us to make games like Pokemon Go. Gamepads are also supported in the browsers, allowing us to develop games both for consoles as well as desktops, simulators, car simulators, plane simulators with astonishing graphics, push notifications, showing the player that we have a discount today, your friend has recently logged on, we have given you a gift in game, and so on, giving you a lot of opportunities to promote the game. And some technologies which appeared quite recently and are not supported by all browsers yet, but are very important for the game development. This is WebVR, enabling VR goggles and augmented reality goggles to be used in game. Only Chrome currently supported, and Firefox partly, but this is an active development, and I think you'll be going to make VR games quite soon. Speech recognition and synthesis. Web speech is currently used in a lot of different uses. Speech synthesis is widely used, and speech recognition will be used more widely in the future, I think. And of course, the developers code games are cool, but we also love to earn money using games. And it's very cool that a payment API have appeared. So we don't use external services for this. This looks like this, allowing you to request payment in-game and giving the user the opportunity to buy something in-game. Is it really that good? Is it really that cool? Why aren't we playing or aren't we coding browser games? Every one of us. Why are we coding other desktop games as well? Browser games have their drawbacks. Let us look at this. 3D is slow in browsers, they say. That's true. 3D engine has to be secure, and it is slower than native programs. But let's be honest, not everyone makes AAA high-quality graphics. Because, well, you know, like indie games or very simple games, you don't need a high-quality, high-performance shadows and the support for 8 GB textures. A large part of the browser games can use the existing 3D browser performance. Another problem is that the browsers do not support UDP due to security issues. Yes, this is true, and this makes the life of a developer not very simple, especially for multiplayer dynamic games like shooters. But currently, we have a clone or a compilation of Quake 3 Arena for browsers. It is free, it is publicly available, and in this, it is a very dynamic game, as I see it. A TCP protocol performance is enough to play 15 people on the same map.
проблема, как кажется.
So this is not such a great challenge as we can see on the face of it. We can see that there are challenges to protect the content. Yes, that's affirmative. I tend to agree with you. Any user with the browser developer console could get an access to all your models, to all your source codes of the clients, and they can steal it, pilfer it, and use it in their projects. But I haven't seen a single game for pirates to try to undertake to get an access to the textures and the sounds in the regular games and fail to do that. There are possibilities to do that. And another point is no one fancy JavaScript. I didn't like it myself, and I had to suffer a great to learn this Zen. However, time is changing. There is support giving to the new technologies. There's web assembly that makes it possible to compile games from the other languages, and in the near future, the situation might change. Let us think what other web technology, what other opportunities that web technologies and browsers give us. Sometimes it is more difficult to do something in standalone games than in the browser games. What are those things? One, I think it is one game, one client, one source codes to be optimized for the requirements of the different devices. Right now, it is customarily. There are two different games, like World of Times for computers, for PC, for mobile devices, or for consoles. Or, like Hearthstone, it is one interface, the same clients, just the controls are different, but it's virtually the same game. And those things could be improved, they could be developed. And I've been playing with the idea, it is the idea of the Ubisoft, it's not a browser game. In the process of the development, the Division game, what they've been doing is developing a prototype of an application for tablets. That's how it looked. And the player saw a regular game, and a separate player with the tablet could participate in the game, performing the functions of a drone. Well, it's a short video, but I think you've got the gist of it. And it is just having different experience in the same game. However, the company failed to balance this feature, and they cut it out. But as an idea, I think it is great. It is not just an application for Urna that shows statistics of the game for us. There is an application for such a game as World of Tanks, but it is expansion of the gameplay. So this technology does what it is realistically very difficult to achieve for standalone applications. It is the continuity of the gameplay. The players, the users, do not want to wait. They want to be thrown out of the game. They want to download the extension. They want to play continuously, immediately. And to think of it, it is the web technologies that are the front runners. Have you seen FaceTime of Facebook? In the past 10 years, Facebook hasn't been working. That's the downtime. 5 hours, 1 minute. And Hub, it's a system for publication of the source codes, makes 100 releases, 100 new features per day. And it is something which is not possible to attain for the standalone games. Just imagine that you're playing a game and you've got 100 updates, especially if the load of the game is 20 megabytes. Then in Android, you have to download the application from square one. It means that you download the game 100 times to play it. And we had another good story related to the update and the change of the source codes without stopping playing. In Wargaming, I work for the team that is responsible for the Strongholds mode. It is actually clan farm. We have a small village, and the leader of your detachment, the leader of your clan, can build structures, mining resources, getting improvements, and we've been launching a new version, and we've made the most terrible mistake, blunder, that a developer can make. We issued the release on Friday, and of course something went wrong. And a minor bug of one line resulted in the fact that every 10th player that was playing this mode cannot enter the combat, could not engage. And it was silly, it was strange, but we did manage to address it. And there's an integrated browser in the world of tanks, and this particular feature functionality is applied in it. Had this play mode was in Python or C++, we had to prevent the player from playing, and the player would have to download the application from square one. But since it was a different programming language, and we just replace the error file with the corrected functionality files, and those players that were in the game but did not yet reach this particular mode did not face the challenge. And those who saw that particular problems, unfortunately, well, they have got away already. So within a very short time, a couple of minutes, we did manage to fix the bug, which under different conditions would take a few hours. Let me list through something. That's what I would like to boast of. It is a prototype, it is a technical prototype of our game, and it is a very good example of what technologies, what opportunities could be attained in the browser. There'll be nothing related to push certifications over here, but have a look. It is a browser 3D game with dynamic shadows, millions of range at the game locations, and the gamer is poor, but there is an opportunity for 50 players with server physics to play using the same game map with that quality of graphics at a good computer. It's not a VideoMac, and it's not Doom, but if you can launch it in the browser, I think it is really cool. And we use Wargaming Big World server and 3D platform framework that was developed in Russia, planned for web. It's a good platform, good system, and it makes life easy for the developer, and great things, surprising things, wonderful things could be developed. Something else I would like to boast of, that's what the programmers do not like, but that's what those who pay money to the developers do not like. And you see, nobody is playing browser games, and it is empty niche, but you might be right. At the moment, browser games account for 4% of the game market, or 15% of all the desktop games. But please have a look at this slide and listen to what I will be explaining, and pay attention that we are talking about the desktop browser. We are forgetting about the mobile devices browser games, and consoles are capable of doing that, and it means that we have a good chance, to get 15% of the mobile market and 15% of the console market, and it's much more pleasant than 4% overall, and I think we should target that kind of niche. And in the end, I would like to mention a couple of pieces of news. So what is happening at the browser games market? Facebook company released a few months ago a functionality. It is instant games platform, and it is possible to launch browser games inside Facebook Messenger chat. And Facebook, for a year, has got a game room platform, and it makes it possible to upload the browser games. Telegram has got a gaming platform for browser games. And I think a month ago, the Contacte company launched another platform for browser games. It is Direct Games. 2 months ago, Yahoo in Japan released a platform of their own for streaming console games and for browser games. And Bandai Namco company, quite recently, I think 3 or 4 months ago, organized a partnership company, established a company for free-to-play games based on their title games, Dragon Ball, for example. So, to think about it, in my opinion, in my perspective, when such companies, and even Mark Zuckerberg, invest into this technology, then we should give thought to that, whether we could be using it ourselves, because we can just lose a plethora of opportunities. So, why are you still sitting over here and listening to a guy in red trousers instead of going and developing a browser game of a new generation? Thanks, Ilya. You are the first one, and now we have Q&A. If you please. Thank you, Ilya, for your nice presentation. The bar is high. I am Alexander from St. Petersburg. You have mentioned that we might face a risk of content being pilfered from the browser games. And how about the games that modes could be uploaded? What are the risks in this directions, in this area? If your stand-alone game is subjected to cheating, then malware players will need more time to arrange some cheats. And if your game is based on not trusting a client, just what the most of the games are about, then there are not that many problems. We do not tell it to the players where the other opponents are, and we do not disclose that information, and we just give the direction of the hit, not the direct hitting the enemy. And indeed, we can develop modes and chats that simplify gameplay to some extent. But in principle, it is no different to the situation with the other games. It is just simplifies the development of the malware applications. Pavel, I'm from Wargaming as well. At present, I have some 10 browsers at my phone. It's not that I am install them instantaneously, just that the application has got an inbuilt browser. And what are the prospects of opposing fragmentation? Android? Yes, Android. If I understand it right, each application has got its own envelope, and if we refer to Twitter and the others, then it is a separate enclosure. Of course, you can install Chrome, Firefox, Opera, but I think it is related to additional opportunities, not additional challenges. Each browser has got its own functionality, its own quirks that the browser uses, that the users like. It is just like saying that I have a computer on Linux, on Windows, and tablet on iOS. And what shall we do with that type of fragmentation? So I don't think this is a grave problem, provided all the browsers you are using are state-of-the-art and they are being updated by the developers. I think it is foregone time when I've been dreaming at night about Explorer 6. I'm dreaming about Safari now. I have it in my sweet dreams. At least it is more sexy, and I think the browsers will be faster, equally fast to develop new features. They will be developing their common features, and it will be sufficient to develop universal applications that will be equally good at all the applications and browsers. Thank you, Illia. It was very interesting. I am further, and I was web designer, and for the last 6 months I've been doing the games, building the games. So you have demonstrated that it is realistic to use JavaScript, and the game might be nice. Not only puzzles, not a social game, but in the future, what do you think? Using WebAssembly, do you think JavaScript will be used to build games that will be not that simple, that will be looking nice? Or do you think the games from the traditional language, programming languages would be used? JavaScript makes it possible to do such things as piecemeal download. What I do not like about WebGL, that when you open the game, you can miss the point. You still have the full process of uploading. I had it in my presentation. I've just skipped it in my presentation. Let me just show you the slides, and we still have a couple of minutes, and I will show you what I meant to show but did not. It's a video, but not from the browser, but it demonstrates the idea what that browsers make it possible to give the partial downloading online, and over here it is possible to do the download both from the floppy and from the hard drive, but it is possible to do that from the web, and it is possible to enter the Unity applications, and in a good browser game one can get to the interface and start interaction, developing the character, talking, chat, while the game is being uploaded, and simple models will be used, and it is possible to show 3D, and 3D gameplay might start, and then uploading more detailed features and textures, and that's what is missing with the other platforms, and WebAssembly as a technology does not address this particular challenge. There might be some other ideas and implementation, and I count that WebAssembly technology will make life of the developers easy, but I don't think there will be a drastic breakthrough at the market. However, there'll be a great number of the companies at the market that will just release the WebAssembly built game, and that's not bad. There are new opportunities open for the gamers and new opportunities for the developers.
Thank you very much, Ilya. Last two questions, please. Hi, Ilya. Thank you very much. I'm Dima. I'm working in Wargaming as well. Surprising, isn't it? I'm interested in another problem I see. You've mentioned that it's easy to update programs, it's transparent for the user, but in fact your game depends largely on external developers as well. How dangerous can it be to develop a web game taking into account the fact that the Chrome version can also be updated? Some feature can we deprecate it or taking out from Chrome and the whole game breaks down in like 40% of the users. Well, the driver GeForce version is being updated. My standalone game breaks. The Windows version updates. My standalone breaks as well. The new moon phase emerges, and the game, standalone game, can break as well. Everyone has its problem. Android has this problem. The updates are not that frequent, but the backward compatibility sometimes is the issue. Every system has a problem. This is common for all developers. With browsers, it is not that significantly worse, I think. These problems are solvable at the very end. And the last question, please. Thank you very much again for the talk, Vladimir, Leicester, St. Petersburg. My question is that we all understand, as soon as the game becomes popular, a browser game, I mean, it becomes pirated, it becomes cloned, hundreds of clones, thousands of clones. How do you combat it? Cloning a game has no chances, because we currently have 2048 versions of the 2048 game. We have a lot of Match 3 games, and they look differently, but they do not change. Pirating. In pirating, we show only the client part of the application to the user. The source code is not enough to pirate a game, because how the app works can be analyzed by the traffic, by analyzing the packets you receive and send. Of course, the players or the pirates can steal some ideas and steal some assets, music, models, textures can be stolen, but this won't simplify their life. This won't make the life easier when developing a whole, complete game. If you were the first, and you've made a popular game who then starts being pirated, I've never heard of a case that a copycat game became better than the original, or became more popular than the original. Clones will always be there. I think that this is not a very acute issue for web apps or for browser games. This is this case in the market, in the whole development market. Thank you very much. If you have additional questions, feel free to contact me.